Hello, everybody, everyone. Welcome back. We're playing 428 Shibuya Scramble. I'm here with Yoshi.
Hi, folks.
I forgot to look up the episode. It's like 20,
27 or something? 26?
25.
25, maybe? I remember thinking, yeah, we've done a day of scrambles. Like 24, like a scramble for every hour.
Yeah, Scramble for every hour. We're in
Could
a new
you
day.
eat a scramble? Could you eat a scramble every hour? Like from, I know we usually wait it till the end of the episode to have an inane conversation, an interminable conversation about food. But do you think you could eat a scramble every hour, or do you think you would like die or something?
Um, is it. You're talking about scrambled eggs? Or just scrambles in
Like you
general?
go to a diner and there's like a skillet and they have the different scrambles. There's an Acapulco scramble has chorizo. The English scramble has bacon, but it's a proper like
Like a
large
large
plate
meal?
of
Okay.
scrambled breakfast foods, including but not limited to eggs, vegetables, meats.
That might be a little much for me. If they do like,
Yeah,
because I
I mean
imagine
you
that's
probably
like
just start
what, like
throwing up at
three
some point.
eggs
Yeah, I think three. I think yeah, I think you nailed it. I think it's 3 eggs is the gold standard
in addition to
for
all the other
scramble.
excess stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a little much.
yeah,
Maybe if it was just
yeah.
one egg, I'd be okay.
You also don't get to sleep. I mean, I guess you can sleep between scrambles. All right, let's give the people what they want. That's enough of that. Enough of that nonsense.
Speaking of
For now,
scrambles,
there will be more nonsense.
do you recall what happened in episode 24?
Absolutely not. No
From that
freaking
thumbnail,
idea.
it looks
There's a
like he
cliffhanger. I remember we waited for the cliffhanger though.
kind of he's not on the to be continued. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, remember I was like tired or something. I was like,
Oh
yo,
yeah,
let's end this
yeah.
episode. You were like, dog, there's 2 minutes left. Are you really gonna like be like a baby? And I
That's
was like,
true.
yeah, I'm gonna be a
Yeah,
baby.
we finished the scene where he talked to Kano's girlfriend's dad, who is actually pretty honey, and
Oh right, yeah, he's pretty high. I
and
forgot.
then
Yeah, that was
he
awesome.
stepped out. He's like, "Hey, you got to get out of town because I
Yeah, so
can't."
he could be a bad guy if he's pretty honey. It's like because then he could be like he knows he's talking to Osama and anyways,
Okay, so we're jumping back in. Should I scroll back up, kind of, to see what happened before? Uh,
sure.
oh yeah, they just talk about Kano's girlfriend.
How they both love Rumi and Dad was like, she's pretty cute, huh? What's his name? Shizuo?
Yeah,
She's pretty cute,
she's.
huh? She's got big old hooters, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's it. This is my
She's
own
got
dog.
a. I mean, yeah. Even if this, yeah. What if that's so Japanese? Shout out to the Japanese for being devious.
All right, I think this is a thought, so this is you.
All right. The ability to calmly assess the situation.
Kano
Dot
knew
dot
what
dot.
he needed to do. There was one thing that was nagging him, no matter how hard he thought about it. It still didn't add up.
Why does Shizuo want to bang his daughter?
Why would Tateno let Al Karawan go free? He needed to get back to the precinct and get the truth from Al Karawan firsthand. As he walked along, he considered what he did know about the facts of the case. Just what sort of plan had Alfard put into motion here? It seemed that Tanaka and Osawa held the keys to understanding it. There had been relay handoffs of the phony attaché case, a relay that Tanaka had been complicit in. Then there was Hitomi missing, carrying the antiviral. Osawa, oh, we got that jump, had confirmed that himself. Kano was starting to form a vague picture of what Alfard was up to. If the mastermind's goal was to acquire the antiviral, and obtaining the cooperation of Osawa and Tanaka was vital to that plan. After all, their fingerprint verification was required to physically assess the drug. In order to overcome that hurdle, Alphard had presumably managed to win over Tanaka somehow, and had then kidnapped Maria Osawa to provide leverage against her father. No doubt that was how they'd gotten Hitomi to take the antiviral with her to Hachiko. While the police were distracted by following the attaché case, Alphard would then take the antiviral from Hitomi. That was the general plan as far as Kano could surmise. Just then, a call from Kuze came in over the wireless. We've identified the body found inside the blown-up minivan. Kano's hand tingled as it gripped the wireless. Who do you think is inside that minivan?
For my money, like if I had to guess, I don't know 100%. If I had to guess, I would say it's that weird little girl who writes poems and has some kind of. We shouldn't make fun of her. I think she's neurodivergent. What's her name? Hanabi?
Hana.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. I think it's Hana.
Yeah, I think in Minorikawa's line, he got a call that it was her dad.
Yeah.
Was his name Tateno? Or is... Am I thinking... Yeah, it's
That's not, I
Tateno.
don't. That's Tateno. Is his? Isn't that his hero? Tateno? It's
Oh.
not Tateno.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
Toyama.
Toyama. That's what it is. Mamoru Tanaka, male, 40 years old, an employee of Okoshi Pharmaceutical. Positive ID was obtained from the subject's personal belongings.
What?
Kano gasped.
Sorry, that came out louder than I intended it to. But maybe that was good. Maybe I nailed it.
You nailed it. If Tanaka was dead, it would now be almost impossible to access the antiviral drug in the laboratory. At this point, the only antiviral they had any chance of obtaining was whatever Hitomi was carrying. Kano thought back to what Stanley had said earlier. Ooh, I gotta do my Stanley voice. Even if we get Maria to safety, the mastermind is in possession of the UA virus. If they want to, they can unleash a bioterrorist attack on Shibuya at any time. To put it bluntly, the lives of every man, woman, and child in the city are in their hands.
I feel like now that you've started doing that, you have to do it whenever she talks. No!
A chill ran down Kano's spine. If someone did release the Ulu virus, there would be no way to stop it from spreading. If Alphard really was planning a bioterror attack, Shibuya would well and truly become a city of the dead. Are we the Walking Dead? He couldn't help but feel that the whole department was playing right into Alphard's hands. Kano staggered, physically stricken by the realization of just how terrifying a foe they were up against. To be continued. Yeah, that was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I needed this 5 minutes of sleep.
I like how the
Sorry.
beginning kind of
Sorry,
summed
folks
up
at home.
what happened, though. Just a little
That
bit.
was nice of them, yeah. That was really cool of them to do that.
Alright, so we just have
We gotta
Osawa.
check in with the home. Yeah.
Let me get this jump.
Osawa.
Alphard. I remember making fun of the name Alphard. Is it still funny?
Yeah, and the game acknowledged that it was funny too. It was like, Alphard? What kind of Dumbo dodo brain would name themselves Alphard?
Is it Alphard or Alphard?
I think it's Alphard. Like alfalfa.
Before the news was shared with the Osawas, the members of the investigation team quietly briefed Detective Kajiwara. Osawa and I sat on the sofa on the far side of the room, watching. They could see Kajiwara go pale. He wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief several times.
Bad news.
Osawa thought.
For I'm trying, I gotta find his voice. I don't think it's like that.
What is Kajiwa's? It's like that, right? Mr.
I think
Osawa, ma'am.
yeah, it's like a little more smug though. I think it's like it's that nasal, but like also smug.
Okay. Kajiwara shuffled his way over to them at last. I don't know why I'm doing this weird radio voice. We've just
That's fine.
gotten.
I think none of the voices remain consistent over any of these episodes, right? For anyone who's been watching this since the beginning, like I hope you figured that out by now.
Yeah,
If you
imagine
haven't,
imagine
well,
binge watching
that's
all
other
of
thing.
these.
That would, I think you'd get brain damage. I don't recommend I don't recommend watching more than like an hour
It's
of this
zooming
a
into his
day.
butt. Have you noticed that? There we go.
Oh
We got a
wow,
nice shot.
who's the monkey guy?
We've just gotten word from headquarters. If you don't know what headquarters are, it's a task force that is in an uproar after a change in direction from the higher ups. The detectives who were on the scene have been ordered to discontinue the kidnapping investigation. We gotta jump to Kano somehow.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
He hesitated ominously. Osawa braced himself.
Please, let's hear it.
It would seem that your daughter Maria is safe.
What?
Osawa felt an unexpected surge of relief.
Because that's the good one, right? You mean it?
Yeah, that's the one that was initially kidnapped.
Yeah, that's the one that he likes. Um, it's just like sounds like a
Oh yeah,
bratty like valley girl, right?
Yeah, I have Bratty written next to her name.
Okay. But not like a brat like adult video bratty, just like traditional. Um, the case has been the case has been solved.
Added I. For a moment, they almost sounded like a happily married couple. It was only the stern look on Kajiwara's face that gave them pause. However, as of yet, we do not have her in custody.
I'm sure I understand.
Osawa said.
You know she's alive, but you don't have her? How?
Deep furrows appeared in Kajiwara's forehead. I'm
Deep
sorry,
furrows
sir.
appeared in his butt. Sorry.
Look at the wrinkles there. I'm sorry, sir. The information we've received from up top is, complicated. We've confirmed that she was able to escape confinement. It's just... The detective gave every appearance of holding something back.
There's something you need to tell us. Then just say it.
Osawa told him. It would seem that Maria has been infected with a virus.
Infected?
Osawa felt as if a taloned claw had just clutched his heart. It's not one I've ever heard of before, but, apparently it's called the Uwa virus. The cameraman's
He's like,
backing
oh damn,
up.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I love that virus. It's one of my favorite ones.
Osawa's vision went dark. He felt as if he'd plunged into a black void of despair.
Darling?
I asked raspily. She
Nailed
didn't
it.
need to put her fears into words. Osawa felt them just as plainly in his own.
But she doesn't give a crap about the twins. Right? Because they're not her kids and she's like kind of a bee.
She probably cares about the virus, though, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're married. She's like, ooh, you're a scientist. I'm the daughter of a major pharmaceutical company. Let's,
Yeah. Let's be a loveless power couple together.
You're on. That's what he says, right? You got it.
You got it, yeah.
You got it, babe. You're an expert on virology, aren't you, Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara said. Are you familiar with this Uwa
virus?
Osawa held up a hand to forestall further questions. There was no time for that,
How many hours ago was she infected?
he demanded.
I wasn't told that much. Is that important to know, sir?
Of course it's important to know. I mean, depending on when Mario was infected, we may or may not still be.
Osawa trailed off abruptly as the reality of the situation struck home. This wasn't the same as when Hitomi had been infected. Right now, there was no way of getting Tanaka's cooperation, which meant there was no way of assessing the antiviral storage. In other words, getting the cure to Maria would be impossible.
Wait, does he know Tanaka's dead?
I don't
I
know.
guess.
Osawa's head swam.
Detective Kajiwara, I beg of you. Your people need to catch Tanaka as soon as possible. I can't share the details, but if you don't, something terrible is going to happen.
Sounds like he doesn't know. Just then,
Yeah.
Kajiwara's cell phone rang. He picked up quickly.
What did you say?
The detective's shout shattered the anxious silence that had fallen. Nailed it. I shuddered visibly at the outburst. Kajiwara nodded sharply, still listening. More creases formed in his forehead and his buttocks.
I thought you were going to say something else. Because, forehead.
Understood. I'll let them know.
He hung up. All eyes were on him.
That was headquarters.
Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. He could feel himself quaking all over.
A minivan we believe belonged to the syndicate exploded near Jinan in Shibuya. A body was found amongst the burning wreckage of the vehicle.
Who was it?
Osawa interjected.
Tell me. Please, don't let it be Maria. Please, don't let it be Hitomi. Although I'd rather it be Hitomi than Maria because I do prefer Maria a little bit.
Kajiwara took a breath before speaking.
We've conclusively identified the remains as Mr. Tanaka's.
No. Why is Let's go. Why is
The cry was visceral, almost bird-like. Osawa looked around in surprise. It was I.
It's not true. You're lying.
Her shrill screams reverberated through the room.
Nailed it again.
Osawa felt like he wanted to scream too. With Tanaka dead, there was no way to get to the antiviral. Which meant that Maria was going to die.
We're gonna die.
We're all gonna
Maria's
die.
gonna die.
Alright, we are into a new hour, I believe.
Alright. Let's get cracking. The music is intense, by the way.
We're getting a little preview, I think, in the next chapter. Yeah, here we
go. Folks. This ain't the oldest source anymore. I am going to stop you. Oh, I'll touch you.
It is now 4 o'clock, huh?
Yep.
Alright.
Alright.
Nothing, never mind. Sorry, I've played this game before, and I noticed something. But that's okay.
Oh, is that why you were breathing like Darth Vader?
Yeah. That was like a gasp.
You're like...
Who should we start with?
All right, we're not eating our vegetables with Kano. Sorry, Kano.
We've got Minorikawa, who's all
Got the
dirtied up.
dusty Minorikawa.
Osawa,
We got the homie.
who's dealing with a screaming wife and a shaky camera. We've got Maria, um, who is still covering up that shirt. We will never find out what that shirt
Maybe she
completely
knows
says.
it's kind of stupid, and that's why she's like won't let us see what it says.
And we've got Achi, who last we saw was carrying Hitomi, I think.
Let's go with Madia.
All right. Let's see what the summary is. While the man with the cane holds her at gunpoint, Maria talks about everything she can remember. Realizing that he has the wrong girl, the gunman lets her go free. But who is she? Why had she been locked up? Maria wanders the city completely at a loss. Suddenly, she's caught in the periphery of a nearby explosion, which causes vague memories of Kanan to surface. There was something Maria needed to do on Kanan's behalf. But no sooner does she remember this than the man with the cane comes after her once again.
Knew you were going to say again to rhyme with Kane.
I had to. Alright, what is the Maria narrator voice?
I think it's just your voice.
Yeah, you're right. I walk counter to the throng of people heading toward the scene of the explosion, which is the explosion that happened in Shibuya-ku, Jinan Ichichome, near the intersection
I
of
believe it's
Koenoi
pronounced Chome.
and Oregon Hill. My one chome.
It's on Oregon Hill.
There's a gun pressed against my back, leaving me no choice but to continue marching forward. I don't have time for this right now. There's something I need to do. My frantic sense of urgency grows and grows. Kanan. The only clue I have is that name. The other hazy snippets that I have surfaced in my memory provide no answers. Please, just tell me, I murmur. Do you know who I am? When the man with the cane doesn't answer, I stop at my tracks. I'm going to start shouting, I warn him.
Sky,
Yeah. I have
you have a
menacing.
note. Okay. If you want to find out who you are, then do as I say.
Was that your Darth Vader voice?
No, I can make him sound like Darth Vader though if he keeps talking.
The barrel of the gun jabs more forcefully into my back.
Once we find Hitomi, Osawa, you will remember, whether you like it or not.
Nice. Guess I have no choice but to keep moving then.
But your memory is really not precious to you.
The man mutters as we start to move again. I'm taken aback by the question. Well, yes, I mean, isn't that pretty normal? There's a bit of a pause before he replies, his voice sad and distant.
You're not going to remember just the good times, you know.
What do you mean?
I mean that sad and painful memories are going to resurface too.
I think this is more sounds more like T.S. Eliot than Darth Vader, but
Okay, you can switch to T.S. Eliot
working
voice,
on it.
like a menacing T.S. Eliot.
Okay.
I guess I hadn't really thought about that.
But still, whatever kind of memories they are, they're all a part of me. I'm the person I am now because of the sorrow and pain, too. I want to remember. I want to remember who I am. The gunman directs me dispassionately along a series of quiet side streets.
Right here.
I stop at his words. In front of us is an old multi-tenant office building. We ride the elevator to the 8th floor and use the emergency exit to take the stairs up to the rooftop. A cool breeze blows across my cheek.
Sit down there.
I do as he says, settling myself on the outdoor air conditioning unit.
I'm jealous of the air conditioning unit.
The man lowers his gun, but keeps it in hand.
We'll wait here for a bit.
For how long? He lets out a rueful chuckle.
Heh, heh. Guess we'll have to wait and see.
I decide there's no point in trying to fight with him. For now I have to hope he's telling the truth, and whatever's coming will help me get my memories back. If I don't know my past, how can I know what to do about this Kanan stuff, or anything else? I stare up at the sky as I wait for whatever this assassin is waiting for. The silence between us is suffocating, like what I'm doing to this outdoor air conditioning. Finally, I can't take it any longer. Hey, so I think this is yours. I hold out the notebook I picked up earlier. The man's surprise is plain on his face.
Where did you get that?
It's his poems. I saw the picture inside. He snatches the book out of my hand. Then he flips through it, looking sad. I'm afraid that another agonizing silence is about to descend when he speaks at last.
This is a picture of me and my childhood friends.
His voice is low and quiet.
Nailed it. We were inseparable back when we were kids. The boy here, he liked to fiddle with machines, always doing things like taking apart radios and whatnot and putting them back together. He was a total bookworm, too, so he got picked on a lot, but I was always there to save him from the bullies.
All of a sudden, the guy's in a sharing mood, I guess. I can feel his aura of murderous rage starting to abate.
The girl here was the same age as us, but she felt more like a big sister. Whatever stupid things my other friend and I got up to, she was always willing to laugh it off.
Ooh.
Love triangle.
We're going love triangle?
We were going with the love triangle, baby.
So, was this some sort of love triangle? Well, okay then. Guess I'm the nosy sort. The man grimaces, but nods.
When we were in high school, she told me that she liked me. So the two of us started dating.
And what about the other boy? I ask. The man casts his eyes down but doesn't answer.
He was in love with her too, wasn't he?
Oh wait, I think that's me.
Oh,
He
I'm sorry.
He was in love with her too, wasn't he?
I'm really caught up in this bit that like no one, including you, is going to appreciate. I wound up breaking up with the girl, and he was furious with me for it.
The man carefully slips the notebook into the pocket inside his jacket.
I'm incapable of making other people happy.
Why's that?
Because I'm a dick.
He lets out a little chuckle, but then stands up and brushes the
Nailed
dust
it.
off his pants. Alright, what are you doing, dude? He looks strangely lonely. Uh-oh.
Keep out. Yeah, you better keep out, you squirrely little bastard. T.S. Eliot, you horn dog.
Alright. So who are you going to next?
Um, how about um, how about we go back to Osawa?
Alright. Your voice can handle it?
I think so.
Alright, I don't think we need to read the summary.
I don't want to know how people feel. All I want to know is what viruses feel. I prefer viruses because they make no move to encroach on me from the other side of my microscope. They leave me free to let my thoughts wander as I wish. And while it may be true to say I understand viruses, I've never been able to understand my fellow humans. I don't know them. I don't know a single fundamental thing about them. I'm also kind of a dick.
It's emotional music.
With Tanaka dead, trying to use the backup passwords for the fingerprint scanner had become a hopeless endeavor. The only remaining means of gaining entry to the storage area was to issue an emergency unlock request to the electronic lock manufacturer. And in order to do that, they needed approval from the 6 members of the board of directors.
You think that company mostly makes chastity belts? Just like their one non-chastity customer.
Yeah. Probably.
Returning to his study, Osawa called Makino's personal cell phone.
Alright, do I have Makino written down here? He's very early. It's like a very... Oh, I do. I have you as the Makino guy. And the description is Godfather. So I guess he sounds like the Godfather because he's like a mob boss.
What is it? I've never seen I've never seen the Godfather. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Let's see. He's Marlon Brando as the Godfather, though, right?
I think so.
Hey guys, I'm Marlon Brando.
Makino said gruffly as soon as he picked up. Osawa informed him of the situation, including Tanaka's death, and the fact that Mario was infected. The news left Makino at a loss for words.
Please,
Osawa begged.
you need to hold an emergency board meeting.
Makino was silent for a few moments.
I'm afraid I can't do that. Why not? Are you just going to sit by and let my daughter die?
Osawa raged.
And not just her. If Maria goes symptomatic.
That was still only an if, but Osawa was reluctant to put his fears into words.
If she goes symptomatic, the Uo virus will sweep through all of Tokyo. I realize that.
Makino replied.
One of the board members is overseas on business. Holding a meeting is impossible.
Despite the gravity of the situation, he sounded astoundingly nonchalant. Osawa couldn't back down now.
There must be some other option, like a web conference or something. That doesn't help us if we can't get in touch with him.
Makino huffed.
He went missing a few days ago in the middle of his business trip.
If you don't know what going missing means... Oh. The head of Akoshi Pharmaceuticals' New York branch has been missing since April 25th, 9 p.m. local time. There have been no demands for a ransom, and so the New York Police Department is investigating the possibility of some other form of foul play.
curious. Osawa was almost too appalled to be angry.
It's the most ridiculous lie I've ever heard.
Didn't you read the tip, Osawa? Come on.
Would you like to speak to my on-flight contact if you don't believe me?
This was like arguing with a child. If Makino was deliberately working against him, he'd never know if this disappearance was real or not.
In that case, can you please appoint a representative in his stead?
Osawa pleaded.
Selecting a representative is a complicated process, Osawa. Even if we started right now, it will take until someone tomorrow afternoon to complete.
Tomorrow afternoon. By then it would be too late for any of this to matter.
Sir, can't you see how absurd the things you're saying are? What would you have me do?
Makino barked.
These are the realities of corporate politics. I understand, sir. You will do nothing for my daughter. That's what you're saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Makino replied.
Look, I'll see what I can do to appoint a representative more quickly.
He hung up. His tone had suggested that waiting for an appointee wouldn't be a terribly hopeful prospect.
I have no more allies.
Osawa thought.
All I have left now are foes.
Ooh. What should we do?
Let's take Makino at his word. He seems like a stand-up guy.
Alright.
I feel like Makino's low-key got this.
He was Marlon Brando. Still, he'd just have to take Makino at his word. Right now, that was his only course of action. Osawa sat down in front of his computer and quietly closed his eyes.
I could just go to sleep and wake up tomorrow morning and find all this resolved, like Mario 2. All I'm asking is for a miracle. For it is a miracle.
But he knew reality would never be so kind. He could hold his eyes shut as long as he wanted, and it wouldn't make the hopeless situation go away. He felt the anxiety welling up inside him until it seemed like he was going to explode. This dude is about to explode. Needing a distraction from his helplessness, Osawa opened up Ayanet. He knew this was mere escapism, but he couldn't just sit and do nothing while waiting for Makino to call back. He posted a new topic with the title, Aya Fortune Teller.
Are you a mullet?
You know what? Maybe.
That's awesome.
I think you should read this because this is him typing.
Yeah, okay. I tried the Eye of Fortune Teller. My results basically said I was a bad person who can't connect to the people around me. He doesn't type very fast. And you know what? That's exactly right. I'm only interested in my own little world. That's probably why my wife and my assistant at work got so fed up with me. It's the same with my two daughters. What sort of things are they interested in? Do they have a lot of friends? What are their aspirations for the future? I don't know any of those things. It never even occurred to me to find out.
Do you think he's
Period.
typing with just his index fingers?
Yes, he is hunting and pecking. I'm such a terrible father. The end.
Post. He gets like, where do you think he's posting it? Like Reddit or Twitter or Facebook? What kind of post would you see this? Social media.
Um, if not Ionet,
If not INet.
I guess it's like a tweet. He would have like a private. It would be on his private though.
Osawa's fingers ceased their tapping on the keyboard as he thought back to when Maria and Hitomi were younger.
I'm sorry. Pardon me.
Daddy, Daddy,
I guess I'm the twins, so I
Yeah,
have to say
you
it.
both are the twins.
Daddy!
The two girls would follow him around like a pair of puppies. Their father was their everything. That much was clear just by looking at their faces. He'd felt a ticklish giddiness at having his girls cling to him so. He'd never felt anything like it in his life. But there were times where he also found it tiresome.
I am sick of being the person I am. There's nothing I can do about that, though. I'm sure it's far too late for me to change.
He poured out all his negative emotions into his post. It felt like stream of consciousness dribble, but he didn't hesitate to write it down all the same.
He needs Grammarly to be like, this paragraph is too long, and yep, that's the perfect place to break it up.
He wanted other people to know what a miserable excuse for a human being he was. At last, when he couldn't think of anything else to add, he posted his bitter confession to the forum. He was staring numbly at the monitor when he heard a furious shout from the next room.
Pardon me.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Did Kajiwara read the post? Who do you think this is?
For my money, if I had to say, it's gonna be I think, because she's the one who's been yelling.
That makes sense.
You got to be kidding me!
It was Kajiwara, and Osawa had never heard him so angry. You have got to be kidding me. That's not his voice. What is that?
that's the Face Junior from the Nickelodeon Kids at Night.
Oh. Look at all these guys.
Look at these hunks. This is like a smorgasbord of hunks.
Osawa headed into the living room and found Kajiwara embroiled in a vehement argument with the other detectives.
I don't care what HQ's policy is. I will not just quietly go along with this.
Kajiwara had already screamed himself red in the face.
Nailed it.
Ooh. Who wants to be the one MPD detective? Maybe there's
I'll
one.
be a MPD detective.
Okay.
He's gonna be like. He's you're out of line.
Oh, he has a
Thinks he's in
name.
a musical.
Kichi Sawatari, with the Metropolitan of the Police Department's First Criminal Investigations Section. Having heard of Kajiwara's past deeds from friends at the Shibuya precinct, he recommended to his boss that Kajiwara be assigned to the investigation at the Osawa residence. After seeing the detective's interactions with Osawa, he is confident that his recommendation was in the right. However, given the circumstances, he can't help but take a cold stance towards Kajiwara.
Hold your tongue.
If there's another one, I will, oh.
I don't care if I'm out line. I don't care if I'm out line.
You may have talent. I'll give you that.
The other detective said.
But you're a precinct detective, and this isn't your jurisdiction. It's not your place to question orders from higher up. Wait,
Osawa thought.
Kajiwara really is a real detective after all. Is this the singing guy saying this?
Sure. Let's try that. But if I had to guess, yes.
Go on, explain the situation to Mr. Osawa.
Yeah. Nailed it. Kajiwara bit his lip in frustration at the other detective's order. Very well, he said. But before he could say more, Osawa noticed that the police equipment had all been cleared off of the table.
Hold on.
Osawa said.
What's going on? Has something happened?
Allow me to explain, sir, Kajiwara said. His bitterness showed plainly on his face. We've been recalled, sir. The MPD has established a security force headed by the members to deal with viruses. Because the kidnapping task force has not yet found Maria and she is infected with the virus, the task force personnel have instead been absorbed into the security force and will continue their work under its direction. Osawa narrowed his eyes, fighting to keep the confusion from his face.
What do you mean by that?
He was shaking, terrified to have his suspicions confirmed. I'm truly sorry, sir, for having been unable to help you. Kajiwara gave a deep and solemn bow.
But Maria, what's going to happen to Maria?
Another unit has been tasked with bringing your daughter into custody, sir. That much, at least, Osawa could process.
You're going to place her under quarantine, aren't you?
Kajiwara's lips stiffened, but he nodded. In order to minimize the spread of the virus, so I'm told.
No,
Osawa cried.
you can't do that. If you do, there won't be any way to save her.
His head spun.
Please, I beg of you, you need to get Maria to me. I might be able to save her.
When Kajiwara didn't respond, he turned to the other detectives.
Please, don't. You can't place Maria under quarantine.
But the detectives' only answer was to avert their eyes. No
I'm averting
singing.
my eyes. Why are you all ignoring me? Please, you have to listen. If you bring her to me, I can figure something out. I know I can.
He plunked himself down on the floor, yelling and flailing his arms like a child throwing a tantrum.
We're walking away.
The detectives exchanged sullen looks with one another, and then walked off and left him there. He knew he must be a sorry sight, but nevertheless, he kept shouting after them.
Please, don't stand by and let my daughter die.
That would have been good if he could sing that. 'Cause that kinda
Yeah.
rhymed. Please don't stand by.
Please don't stand by. Let my daughter die.
Only Kajiwara remained with him in the living room. I'm sorry, sir. This was beyond my ability to stop. He gave another apologetic bow. Osawa felt suddenly deflated.
No. You've done a fine job, Detective Kajiwara. It's me who should be sorry. I've made such a disgraceful display of myself.
That's not true, sir. In fact, I'm deeply moved. I can tell how much Maria must mean to you. Can't say about how much Hitomi means to you, but
Osawa shook his head.
Yeah, I like her a lot. That's the good one, you know. If I'd really been thinking about Maria, I mean, I would have made an effort to work with you detectives more. Is what I was actually going to say. That was all just self absorbed shouting. A moment of emotional selfishness.
and yet, as a result, you convinced me to stay here with you.
Kajiwara proceeded to pull out his phone and put in a request for the task force headquarters to remain at the Osawa residence. He got into a heated spat with his commanding officer, but ultimately received permission to stay on as the police liaison with Osawa.
Well,
The detective said when he hung up.
you see, there are some people who are legitimately moved by a parental display of emotion, even if I'm not certain that I can do very much in staying here with you.
That's not true.
Osawa replied.
There's plenty you can help me with.
Ooh. He looked into Kajiwara's face and
I
smiled.
thought it was going to say he looked down. For instance,
What do you think's gonna happen next? Is it gonna be another keep out? All of these things are pretty,
homoerotic.
Which one do you want to do?
Because B is like they're playing Hide the Osawa. He's like, oop, I found it. Oop, I lost it again. Oh, found it. Um, that fried egg on rice was pretty scrumptious. Let's talk about that one. That fried egg on rice you made me was delicious.
Kajiwara let out a bright little laugh.
Oh, that's so nice of you to say. You flatter me.
It's not flattery.
Osawa shook his head seriously.
Honestly, I've got a hankering for more. I'm sorry. A rare breach of character from our normally very professional voice actors. I've got a hankering for more. I wish I had your cooking skills, detective.
But despite the praise, Kajiwara's smile took on a note of sadness.
Oh, no. Anyone could make something like that after living alone like I have.
Osawa was surprised to hear that he lived alone. The detective looked like he was old enough to likely be married by now.
Gay it was. I think it's about to get gay.
Doing this job caused me to neglect my family. Finally, about 2 years ago, my wife hit me with the divorce paperwork. I wanted to be able to keep our daughter with me, but, well, the law tends to favor the mother when it comes to custody issues.
So his living alone was a newer thing, after being separated from his wife and daughter.
That fried egg on rice? My daughter used to love that.
That's so.
I can cook more proper dishes, but for whatever reason, she just really loved that one.
The detective then pulled 2 bars of chocolate from his pocket. Osawa accepted one, but said nothing.
My daughter was fond of this brand of chocolate too.
Kajiwara snapped off a bit of his own bar and popped it into his mouth.
I would warn her that she'd get cavities if she ate too much. But she'd stuff her face to the point that there was practically always chocolate smeared around her mouth.
Kajiwara sighed, and a forlorn smile came to his face.
I guess the fact that I always carry stuff like this around in my pockets just means that I'm a fool who doesn't know how to let go.
Osawa shook his head.
That's true at all.
He understood full well what it was like to have a daughter always in one's thoughts. Osawa too broke off a piece of chocolate and slipped it into his mouth. It was sweet and milky, a taste a child would love.
Okay, let's dial it back a little bit.
He licked the residual chocolate from his fingertips, then turned back to Kajiwara. The two men smiled at one another, chocolate staining their teeth. Here was a man Osawa could really talk to. He was sure of that much now. They're looking really deeply into their eyes.
Oh, yeah. Detective, I apologize. I've kept things from you because I was worried that they involved classified corporate information.
Oh?
Kajiwara's eyes glimmered with interest.
Earlier today, I received some emails that could be pertinent to the case.
Well, would you mind letting me see them?
Osawa shook his head.
On the contrary.
Back in front of his computer, Osawa saw that IANET was still open. Pretty Honey had responded to his forum post. Ooh.
Yeah, let's check out. We haven't heard from Pretty Honey in quite a while. Let's read this. One moment. Just let me read this.
Osawa read the response. Alright, Pretty Honey.
I got that same result. Do you really think it's too late? Don't give up hope. Hang in there. P, open paren, caret, long dash, caret, close paren, Q. It's never too late. Oh, it's never too late. Every family has its share of problems. Like, you'll never find one that doesn't, I'm sure. When it comes to family, there's no such thing as game over. So don't let it get you down, Julie. Open paren, lowercase I, long underscore, lowercase I, close paren, open paren, caret, long underscore, caret, close paren. Besides, I did learn one thing from reading your post. In the end, a father's happiness is his daughter's happiness. Open paren, caret, lowercase o, caret, close paren.
Nailed it. Kajiwara peered into the monitor.
A young girl is posting to a forum for people 40 and older?
It's Pretty Honey. She always replies to my threads.
The detective furrowed his brow.
I see.
Why is this the Pretty Honey thing like the most interesting plot line in this novel?
I think this is you.
Is something the matter?
No. That last line there just has me curious is all. A young girl writing something like that. Well, that's neither here nor there right now. Let me see those emails if you would.
Osawa opened his email. He pulled up the images of the human testing on the monitor.
Oh my. Oh goodness. What is this?
Kajiwara stared at the monitor as if unable to look away.
They're images from unauthorized clinical testing of an antiviral drug I developed carried out by my company without my knowledge.
Images of a... I'm sorry, what was that?
The detective frowned at the unfamiliar terminology.
In simple terms, the antiviral is a wonder drug to combat the UU virus.
Now, hold on. Maria is infected with the UA virus, isn't that right?
Yes, UA is a species of virus discovered in South Africa relatively recently. Roughly 12 hours after infection, patients develop a cough, then a fever, then begin vomiting, and ultimately begin to bleed uncontrollably from all over, especially the anus, resulting in death. Sorry. The mortality rate is...
Osawa was reluctant to say it. Kajiwara held his breath, waiting.
8%. Just kidding. It's nearly 100%.
Well, golly gosh. Kajiwara shuddered. Did I say Kaliwala? Kaliwala?
I think he said it, Kajiwara.
But, wait, he said after a moment. If you have this water drug that Maria... Osawa shook his head.
Without Tanaka, I have no means of getting it out of the lab.
Kajiwara's frown deepened. I see. It may not be much to go on, but I think we could put together at least one piece of our little mystery here. And by mystery, I mean something difficult or impossible to explain, like an enigma. You know, you see plenty of books titled The Mystery of Such and Such or The Secret of Whatever on bookstore shelves, but when you read them, you're invariably disappointed by the mystery not being that mysterious after all. Alright.
I'm always blindsided by the mystery, by the plot twist.
Pardon me one moment. Kajiwara inspected the email address of the sender, A, then brought up the mail header. You don't see email addresses like this much. It's seemingly from a foreign country, but that may be fake.
You can tell that just from the email.
The detective flashed a little grin. Take a look here. So if we just do this, and then this... His fingers flew over the keyboard, calling up the header details, singling out the received from field. This set of 4 numbers at the bottom is the sender's IP address. Think of it as an ordinarily hidden location marker of sorts. As he spoke, the detective pulled up a website called IP Station. He copied and pasted the set of 4 numbers and pressed the enter key. The monitor showed the name of the provider, connection method, and other such details.
Where was this guy when we needed to see Hillary Clinton's emails? That's what I want to know.
When was this? 2008? And
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton was like 8 years later?
Yes.
He was probably a famous actor. Because I'm pretty sure
makes
there's
sense.
in the past, like earlier in the game, he mentioned that there's a manga that's being written about his adventures.
Adventures of Kajiwara?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So he's probably famous now. He's got his own show. Osawa couldn't make heads or tails of most of it, but one thing drew his eye. Access point, Shibuya Ward, Tokyo. Kajiwara went into the email program's options and checked the server info for Osawa's connection. Deep furrows formed in his forehead. This is the same provider that you use, Mr. Osawa.
What does that mean?
What kind of internet connection do you have here at your house?
Dial up, of course.
Osawa pointed at the... Oh, did you want to read it?
plugged in over there, but
Osawa pointed at the router. And does everyone in your family use that line?
um, yes, I think so.
Kajiwara opened up a command prompt, then typed IPCONFIG. A command prompt is a literal prompt for users to issue computer control commands via keyboard instead of a mouse. Also frequently used to refer to the window or program allowing for such. Cool. Okay, so if the same numbers we saw before pop up here, that's the bad sign. Osawa stared at the monitor. Kajiwara pressed enter, and a black window covered in white alphanumeric characters appeared. What the heck? Kajiwara muttered under his breath.
Wait, what's going on?
Osawa asked.
Explain simply so that I can understand.
Faking an email address is simple enough, but the typical person wouldn't be able to fake an IP. It's very likely that these emails were sent from another computer inside this house.
Was that hard to do in 2008? Because it's, like, incredibly easy to do now.
I mean, it sounded pretty simple. It was just like, what? Copy, paste, and then pull up command prompt, type in one thing, copy, paste.
Yeah, but you know Japan, they're always a little behind on the technology.
Osawa had to, had to stifle a gasp. The emails had been sent from his own house at around 11 o'clock that morning. Since Osawa hadn't sent them himself, that left only one possible culprit.
Izuo.
I.
Yeah, as in, it was I, Shizuo.
Suddenly his phone rang, nearly startling him out of his seat. Makino's name showed on the incoming call display. Oh, hey, well there you go. Osawa quickly picked up.
Is there an update on the emergency board meeting?
He blurted. Makino's voice was quiet and subdued.
I tried pulling whatever strength I could, but to no avail. I'm afraid holding a board meeting today just won't be possible. No Deus Ex Machina. Today, not this time.
The phone fell from Osawa's hand. His only possible means of saving Maria was now gone. The end?
On reflection, it was ambitious to trust that bastard.
Wow, that's the end of his hour already. Spent a lot of time flailing, eating chocolate, and looking at emails.
And looking at Kajiwara.
No jumps either, huh?
No jumps.
No jumps.
That might be a good place to
Yeah.
to pause for this.
So Maria's had to keep out. We've got these three fine folks. Dirty folks. To deal with. Alright, so, thoughts, impressions, scrambles?
I think that I might be bad because she's been kind of a bee the whole time, and she sent those emails, and she's kind of got funny teeth like a vampire. She looks like a vampire. She's also kind of pretty. And I think that I'm back to thinking that Chinako maybe was not a bad guy. He was doing some kind of crisscross applesauce double agent thing, and he just got bested. And I think that yeah, Makino seems like he's not being very helpful. Those would be my observations.
Hey, it's me, Makino.
Hey, it's me.
It's me, Makino.
Hey
Voiced
guys, it's
by
me, Makino.
Marlon Brando.
Yeah, I don't
Was
think
that
that's
good?
actually what Marlon Brando sounds like, but it sounds like what I thought what I Marlon Brando might sound like. So yeah, I don't think. Oh, the only thing I've seen Marlon Brando in is Apocalypse Now,
You know,
and
I might have
by that
actually
point he
seen
was
The
like,
Godfather before. It
yeah,
was super late at night. It was like in college. I was in my dorm alone, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch movies at like 1 in the morning. And I was like half asleep watching it, I think. So I have no opinion on The Godfather. I don't remember
did
much.
you have any bad dreams? Did it make you have bad dreams?
I don't think so. I remember eating popcorn though. I kind of that
I hope you
first
brushed your teeth
semester
after
is like
you went to sleep.
I was too lazy to go to like the cafeteria or whatever, and so I would just eat microwave popcorn and ramen.
That's pretty lazy to not be able to go to walk to the cafeteria for eat real food. I mean, popcorn is like the opposite of real food.
Yeah.
I'm kind of anti popcorn a
Oh
little bit. I
really?
think
I
it's
really
like
like popcorn.
uh,
I quite enjoy it.
it's because it's like air. It's so I don't like. I'm not. Okay, so thankfully this has just evolved into food nonsense again. But like, like shitty opining about food. But I don't like foods that are like not good to eat when you're hungry. Basically, so
I
that's why I'm
see.
like low on dessert and I'm low on like
Chips and stuff.
popcorn and like yeah, fairly low. I do like some of the chips like Voodoo. Um, and chips and salsa are really good. Nachos, but that can be more of a meal. But yeah, basically stuff like if you imagine you're really hungry, right? You haven't eaten. It's like 6 p.m. and you haven't eaten that day for whatever reason, and you're like you just sit down and you have like a big bowl of popcorn and like an ice cream cone or something. Like you're gonna feel like a piece of poop afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I know what you
don't
mean.
like I don't like foods that do that. Because what's the point of eating if you're not hungry? Foods that are good mostly when you're not very hungry, it just seems a bit silly. Like, imagine a drink to drink when you're not thirsty, or air to breathe in while you're breathing out. It just doesn't make any sense.
I get what you mean. I think I felt that way before. Um, like I have to be in the mood to like want to eat popcorn these days. Because like the kernels getting stuck in your teeth kind of make it, you
It's a
know,
chore.
make it a chore.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know.
It's depraved, like for the same reason. So like you can't stop. Like nothing will ever make you stop eating it except you run out or you like decide to stop eating it. Like if you're eating like a rotisserie chicken or something, you might eat half the chicken and you're like, I'm full. I'm gonna stop doing this. But like popcorn, it's just like there's never any reason to stop eating popcorn. So you just eat all the popcorn in the world. I don't know. It's depraved.
I'll still eat it occasionally though. What about like candy? You're not you're not really into sweets though, huh?
Not no, not big into candy. I'll admit that like once every couple of months I'll have a mood and uh, eat a bunch of Reese's cups or something, and it'll be like the best thing ever. Just because my body was like, oh, I haven't had candy in months or whatever. But like 99% of the time, I'd rather eat like a Caesar salad or something. Like grilled cheese, a bowl of tomato soup,
Ooh,
anything.
grilled cheese is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good place to end the video. We need to sign off. What happened in the episode? Make
I
sure.
think you and I have a different idea of a sign off because I feel like that's the sign off. Like,
Oh, you just want it to
it's
end
in
right
my,
there? We can just have it
I
end
don't
right there.
know. I mean, you can say what you're like the MC. You can say whatever the heck you want. You can say horrible things. They're gonna get our videos taken off YouTube or whatever if you want to. But in my mind, the sign off is just like the stupid crap that we say at the end of when we're done doing the episode. Not like don't remember, don't eat popcorn if you're hungry. Whatever. Like,
Well, that's the episode. We will. Yeah, we'll try this out. We'll see you guys next time. Could it be next week?
if
Maybe. Maybe not.
it's probably, yeah, it might be.
Who knows? Only you. I'm doing it again. I gotta stop. We're trying without it.
All right, bye.